Okay.
A very good morning and welcome to the show on AI sovereignty and solidarity. It is a China India dialogue for the global south. So, very good morning and welcome to this show. And I'm Nandini Mukherjee. Uh, I am a professor of a university in Kolkata, Jadavpur University, Kolkata. And it's just you are Mr.
Xiong,
Yeah.
and thank you very much for inviting me.
So Jiangji, I think you are also known as Jeff, right?
Yes, yes, a
So shall I
nickname.
use Jeff
No,
as a short
it's
one?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah,
Call me Nandini then. Right.
thank you.
So we will start our discussion today, uh, and let us start with the Rio de Janeiro declaration from the BRICS leader, which has
Mhm.
been released this month only, that is under the heading Strengthening Global South Cooperation for a More Inclusive and Sustainable Governance. So, Jeff, I just want to point out from this declaration that the leaders mentioned we recognize that artificial intelligence represents a milestone opportunity to boost development towards a more prosperous future. Now, you
Mhm.
see, when we discuss about the impact of AI, in particularly in this region of the world, we find that there is a divided opinion. Many says AI will change our world, change the way we live, create new jobs, and bring comfort to everyone's life. Some others, including famous scientists and technologists, they fear about job losses, replacement of humans by robots, control by the corporates. So I would like to ask, what is your opinion? Will AI create more new jobs or will there be job losses? So if you just tell us about what do you think?
Sure. Yeah, thank you for having this conversation. It's a very important question. So I would like to start from a example. We just did a site visit to a construction site, the expansion project of Pudong Airport. And in the construction site, we see a lot of robots are doing what? Doing reinforcing the bars in concrete. So they use steel wires to band the reinforced bars within the concrete. So to reinforce the structure, right? So before robot, it was humans' job. A lot of people doing that, and it was not a comfortable job. It, People had to work exposed in wind and rain and super hot, like 40 degrees in the summer under the sunshine, and there is some risk, right? People can get their hand cut, can fall from the building, and there's no creativity in that job, right? There's no enjoyment. What's the enjoyment of using wire to bind the bar, right? So to that, what is essence of using technology, AI, robots in a job like that? I would say that is liberating of human beings. Human beings should not be working that kind of job. I don't think anyone enjoy working that kind of job,
Sure.
but people had to and still have to, because they have to live a life. They have to have income. So I think what is happening to AI is it's liberating a lot of repeating, dangerous, others, and uncreative tasks. So to allow people to, in the way of Marxism, to allow people to develop fully, But of course, meanwhile, there are risks of taking job from people. So people become jobless, they become incomeless, they cannot feed their family. Is that a problem of AI or is that a problem of the society? I would say that's a problem of society.
Yes.
Under capitalism, people had to work a job and to be alienated by capital, by the production process to live a life. That is a problem of the society. So I think we should be clear of that and not to blame the losing of job to AI. And it's a political decision that technology, including AI, should it serve the people or should it serve the profit of capital? I think that is an essential question we need to ask.
I agree with you 100% because that's the problem. And here, actually, I would like to quote Professor Christine J. Welly. He is a professor of Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He said the right question then is not whether technological innovation brings progress, but who initiates the process of technological transformation and for what ends, and who stands to benefit or lose from such changes. So that is what you are saying. It is not the problem of the technology, rather it is the problem of the society. If the society, there is a political will that all the persons who will lose the job, they will be taken care of by the country, by the state. So in that case, there should not be any fear about job losses, right? I think, but then, in fact, in India, many of us share the similar concerns, uh, and also some of us see AI as a tool of empowerment as well. Okay,
Mhm.
so uh, I agree with you that probably, I mean, like others, we do not think AI is a threat, rather, it may be a friend of humanity. Do you
Well,
agree
but
with?
I think there is still another aspect of it, because
Hmm.
AI, unlike the many of the previous tools, AI influencing our way of thinking, right? It's
Yeah.
not only expanding our physical capability; it influences how we think. For example, AI makes information and sometimes knowledge so accessible, so easy to get.
Hmm.
It has benefit, but it also raises some risk that if our children they they don't need to have a process of struggle of facing difficulties to get information and knowledge, would their brain to be shaped in a way they cannot deal with intellectual difficulties? I think it's possible, and I saw some research talking about that. So I think there is some risk, some threat we have to face seriously.
That's good. Actually, you see, sometimes I also think like the way we are now using the generative AI, say for example, OpenAI or DeepSeek at your end, there is a chance because obviously ChatGPT like a thing, they are this is collecting the information from the internet, where there is a chance that some information may not be correct, there may be some wrong information. And also when the children are using generative AI, say for writing report or doing something which should be where they should have utilized their brain, so instead of using their brain they are just taking help of some tools like ChatGPT, then obviously there is a chance, as you said, that they are not struggling uh, for doing some uh, tasks where they should use their innovativeness or their mind, they should apply their mind. So there is a problem of uh, I mean, losing their intelligence, or maybe
Mhm.
some problem may arise out of this. Okay, so I move now move to the other point, you see, both, I believe, government of India and government of China, they are taking some initiatives for promoting the AI programs in the respective countries. So government of India envisions the AI program as an umbrella initiative for utilizing transformative technologies to promote inclusion, innovation and adoption for social impact. The government started initiatives like AI for all. So how does China approach to AI? What are the priorities? I must ask this. And what about governance? What are the significant initiatives? So if you just give
Mhm.
some of your thinking about the initiatives in China.
Sure. Yeah, I read briefly about India's strategy AI for all,
Hmm.
and it has 7 pillars, and it
Hmm.
has
Yeah.
government investment. I think that's a good direction. China, as far as I see, um, emphasis not only AI. AI is kind of part of the process, the latest stage of the process of emphasizing digital technology and so-called intelligent technology or smart technology in many, many ways for quite a long time. And generally, the guiding principle is that digital technology should serve the real economy instead of just run in a virtual economy, virtual figures. Like like one example of that is the concept of NFT and
Hmm.
also digital assets is not
Hmm.
that popular in
Hmm.
China government. This direction was actually clear when the Internet Plus strategy was proposed nearly, I think, 10 years ago already. So
Hmm.
the Chinese government has always believed that the Internet must be right, Internet Plus, right? The Internet must be plus, be added
Hmm.
to other real industries so that it can generate productivity that beneficial to the country's long-term development. So
Hmm.
the government overall doesn't quite encourage the pure virtual internet companies like Google or Facebook. When some internet platform companies like Alibaba tried to deindustrialize, to
Hmm.
virtualize, they faced government intervention. So
Hmm.
I think this direction is consistent to AI, that the
Hmm.
state encourage innovation in underlying technology, but do not encourage AI as a pure visual and pure um, intellectual tool and detached
Hmm.
from the real world, especially real world production. So, and almost all the AI companies we see here, they are actively seeking real world applications, being
Hmm.
government, being banking, being manufacture, agriculture, service sector. They try to embed their technology into real world production and the people's daily life. So I think
Hmm.
that's the sort of strategic priority that China as
Yeah.
a country is taking.
Okay. So, yeah, I understand. So, just if you, because you have gone through the initiatives taken in India as well. So, if you just point out the differences between these two strategies in India as well as in China. And I would also like to ask you, how can we learn from each other without losing our distinct approaches? So,
Mhm.
if you can
Sure.
throw
No,
some light on.
okay. I wanted to do more research about India's strategies.
Hmm.
I'm not an expert yet, so I can talk from what I see. I
Hmm.
think there are actually more similarities than differences in terms of how government shape a market and lead the development of industry. So it's unlike many people outside China believe. China's AI strategy is largely a large-scale market behavior. It's not that like the government forcing everyone doing something. It's sort of similar to India's strategy. So government has a strategic direction. It puts some guiding foundation and to not to subsidize every company, but to lead the direction, and so that companies and the private capital enter this section to build. China takes a very similar approach. So it's government guiding the strategic direction. Enterprises enter and to form a industrial chain, and then also encourage young talent people to join the industry. So eventually become a ecology of industry. I think a big difference is not qualitative; it's sort of quantitative. The scale of policy is much bigger in China. So a quantitative comparison, India's strategy, from what I see, India AI strategy has a national budget of 1.2 US dollars, 1.2 billion US dollars over 5 years. That was announced last year, I think. And Tianjin, the city, has they call it Smart Technology Industry Fund. It was established in 2018, and it was 1.6 billion US dollars. So Tianjin, one city, has a leading guiding foundation larger than India, the whole country. That shows this level of scale that China is putting effort to form such a effective market.
Sure. Yeah, I understand this. And probably in that way, India should think about how to scale up its activities by providing more budget in this particular digital transformation.
I talked to a friend this morning. This week, as the week just passed, OpenAI hired a very senior person from another company, and this guy's salary is something like $300 million a year. So I'm sorry, billions in the world of AI is relatively small.
Yeah, sure. I understand that. And in fact, we know the expenses, what is done by other countries like Japan and many other European countries. And compared to that, India's expenditure is really, the budget is really very low. That's true. Okay, so now I come to the next point, because I have come to know that you are one of the founding member of the BRICS AI Center. So we would like to understand what exactly is the BRICS AI Center, what are the activities of this center, and what is the aim of this particular center. So how we can cooperate or collaborate through this center, if you can just tell us about it.
Sure. So first of all, I'm not officially not a member of it. I'm sort of their friend and their academic supporter. So I cannot officially speak on behalf of them, but I can introduce a little bit.
Okay.
So it's under the BRICS summit, the BRICS organization's consensus. So in 2022, the BRICS summit, Beijing Declaration encouraged BRICS members to work together to share best practices, conduct a comparative study on the subject toward developing a common governance approach to facilitate the development of AI in order to contribute to sustainable development of the world. So that was a quotation from the Beijing Declaration. And this center is under that mandate. The China BRICS Artificial Intelligence Development and Cooperation Center is an international cooperation platform dedicated to promoting AI cooperation among BRICS countries, encouraging participation of BRICS governments, enterprises, research institutions, industry associations, multilateral development institutions, etc., 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 and also open to other developing countries to participate. So it's basically a multilateral platform that to facilitate collaboration in terms of AI within BRICS, but not limited to BRICS, within Global South, we can say. To that is this organization. This center is just established latest recently. So it's the official announcement is going to be this month in the World AI Conference, and it's at its early stage, and it's looking for all types of proposal as far as I can see. Of course, China has its proposals in terms of governance, in terms of technology and industry, but I think it's very important that people and organizations from other countries also put their proposal into it, and so it's not, or I mean, personally, I don't want to see it becomes a China dominated mechanism. It should not be. It should be a platform that we can all contribute, and China contribute its power in it, but not dominate the agenda.
I fully agree with you. In fact, sometimes we think that see, India is a large country where we have 1.4 billion people living here, and similarly, China is also a very large country, and there are other countries as well. So, if we come together, probably if the BRICS AI initiative is taken forward, then obviously we should be able to provide an alternative to the Silicon Valley's monopoly, right? So I think the role of BRICS will be very welcoming when we think about shaping an AI order that reflects the global South priorities. What do you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. As President Xi mentioned many times, China advocates a multipolar world and opposed to the hegemony of any country. So, as we talk now, it's mainly opposed the hegemony of the United States. But as Deng Xiaoping also mentioned, if someday China for some reason become a hegemon, other global South countries should also oppose that. So we should be building a multipolar world order instead of having a new hegemon replace the old one. So then we have to work together to build a new way of collaboration. And in terms of AI, the old order, we should say, is a few companies, like less than a dozen of companies, monopolize the whole thing, and they work very closely with one state government.
Yeah.
And then the future we should imagine is not another country, another group of companies replacing the previous one. We should consider a totally different ecosystem in which China, India, Russia, we all contribute our strengths, but there should be a more democratic way of discussing things and making decisions.
Sure. In fact, as you were saying that even when we talk about policy making, then we also see that the tech giants we are coming from one particular country, and uh, they are belonging to only few of the companies in the world. So they are actually dominating in the policy making scenario also. Right. So there we hope, we believe that BRICS countries should play an increasingly important role in this particular world. And we talk about digital sovereignty. So I have one question. Do you think that AI can be used for digital colonization? Now, you see, information is one of the major weapon, right? So whoever holds most of the information, they have some domination over the world. So that is one problem which we are seeing now. So if we can replace the domination posed by these few companies from Silicon Valley, then probably we should be able to maintain the digital sovereignty even in the countries in global south, Africa, Latin America, and in other places. So I would like to know about your opinion regarding this.
Sure. I think yeah, digital sovereignty is also my focus of research, and I believe the the most important thing we need to concern in digital sovereignty is the ownership of data. Like the British data scientist Clive Humby said in 2006, he said data is the new oil. I think that's a very interesting analog, that data has a lot of similarities to oil. It has economic value, right? It is an indispensable raw material for the next generation of production methods. And more importantly, if a country doesn't have the necessary technological and industrial foundations, then it cannot develop and utilize this type of resource. Then then the developed countries use the same words, the same narrative to talk to those countries. They say, okay, this thing is just lying quietly under your feet. It has no value to you. So why don't we develop it together, right? Use our technology, our equipment. Of course, when they say development together, what they really meant is the Western developed countries take most of the value and maybe have a few employments in your country and a few coins as compensate to the global south, but they take all the data, all the value out of the data. So I think that's the primary issue we need to consider, is the ownership of data. And AI, I think, posed a even more urgency to that issue, because AI will, as we can see, AI will become the entrance of a lot of, if not all, digital usage. People are going to ask AI for everything, right? They're not going to access websites and use search engines that much. They're going to use AI for a lot of things, generate a lot of data, and they will put their knowledge, their insights, their thinking into AI, and that data will become more and more valuable resource. And who owns that resource, right? If you use OpenAI, you use ChatGPT, it's OpenAI. You use Gemini, it's Google. So that becomes a very, very sharp contradiction about digital sovereignty. So global south countries, we have to control the data. We have to own the data. And in order to own the data, we probably need a lot of infrastructure. So a model like Gemini is not going to store their data in your country. So you probably need to have an alternative model. and you probably need to have your data center and network or all this. So, but it starts from the ownership of data. And of course, as you said, another important issue is the control over public opinion and the ideology.
Hmm.
Like, for example, I found interestingly that you cannot discuss with Gemini about how to use Marxist solutions to solve some social issues in the United States. You just can't. When you discuss into details, then Gemini refused to have that discussion. So then I start to wonder why we can discuss how to implement democratic reforms in authoritarian states, but we cannot discuss how to use Marxism to solve the issues of the United States. So this clearly is a ideological monopoly enforced through AI. So yeah, that's
Yeah, that's true. Actually, basically, we are being controlled by somebody else without even our knowledge. So, and probably through these social networks and different other uh, applications of not just AI but different other applications of computers, we are being controlled. That's true. Uh, you, I have the question. I mean, whatever you have said with respect to that, because see, in all these countries, like Africa, Latin America, Southeast Asia, there are many countries where there is uh, not much digital infrastructure even. Forget about data, etc. So, can BRICS come forward to lead to establish digital infrastructure so that these countries will have control uh, in their own data? They will be able to control their social influences in the countries. So, is that possible? Can BRICS do something in this regard? What do you think?
yeah. I think there is a bad news that is most of global South countries have probably already missed the historical opportunity to develop their own digital infrastructure, like self reliant digital infrastructure. Even Brazil. I'm so sad to say that, but Brazil in the 1980s used to be able to produce more than half of the computers used in the country. But
Hmm.
then since 1990s, they moved to a neoliberalist direction. They abandoned their own IT industry and relied on the United States. And today, Brazil already lost that capability. They and because of the theory of the third volume 3 of Das Kapital, the fixed asset just become bigger and bigger. And now if you want to, like 20 30 years ago, if you want to enter the IT industry, you probably start your own company in a garage, and you become a startup, and you do something great, and you start to become a important company. Now it's already impossible. Doing anything in AI requires a lot of investment, and it becomes impossible to the newcomers. So then, what does that tell to the global South countries, to even like Brazil, South Africa? I'm not very sure about India. What's the possibility to have a set of infrastructure that, even though is not like fully designed, manufactured in the country, but still the country has a say to it, right? The country can manage it, can own it, and if necessary, they can alternate it. What's a possibility? I think that we have to have our new imagination to create, the BRICS countries have to create a new possibility for countries, for Global South countries, to jointly build an open and shared infrastructure so that it's not dominated by any single country. China will play an important role in that process. The reality is China has probably the strongest IT digital industry other than US, right? So China must play an important role in that process, but with other countries also participating, debating, and negotiating. So this is what I talk to my Brazilian friends many times. You guys cannot wait. You cannot sit there and wait China to propose some solution to you. You have to have your agenda and actively debate and negotiate to China. China is open to that negotiation and together to shape a new diagram of multilateral cooperation in this space.
You are right. Actually, when I first entered into my work life, then also I found that India was developing their own indigenous computers in the 80s. But then gradually India moved away from that path and started bringing computers from outside India. So I think that was some says that that was a very, very good opportunity for Indians because they were able to bring in, they were able to use imported computers, etc., etc. But I think actually when we are talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, that means self-reliant India, then actually we should be able to create our own computers, our own applications based on our social systems. So that is, I think, every country looks forward for that. Such type of environment, and obviously I understand that China is much way forward in creating their own infrastructure, their own applications, their own software systems. That's very good. When we are discussing this particular issue, I would also like to know about what do you think about the proprietary systems which we use. Like we have obviously open source software systems, including AI systems, and similarly we have proprietary AI systems as well. So, what is China's current position on open source software systems?
I think generally China, the state, the government, encourages open source solutions, including AI solutions, because as we discussed before, China's policy directions encourages the application of AI in all industries of the real economy, not only virtual space. And open source AI facilitates, enables that kind of application of AI technology in different industries. So like before DeepSeek was a popular release, but even before DeepSeek, Alibaba's Q1 model was already very powerful and open source. And after DeepSeek, we also observe that DeepSeek do not place a lot of emphasis on the application scenario like ChatGPT. Over the past 6 months, DeepSeek's website has not been developed a lot, actually. Many people are complaining their website, the features you can use on their website is not so advanced. But meanwhile, this model, because it's open source, right? It has already been adopted by many industries like government, banking, manufacturing, and agriculture, education. I have seen a lot of application using this model and integrated it into many real-world production scenarios. So I believe this aligns with direction that China government advocates. Of course, companies can do their private models. That's fine. It's market. but I think the policy direction is encouraging open source.
In fact, with open source models, I believe that many startups can also take some initiative to generate their own models, their own applications. So that would be useful for the society as well. So in
Mhm.
India also, we actually led the open source movement for quite a long time from now. But yeah, there are some initiatives in India as well to take forward this open source movement. That is a good thing in our country as well. Uh, Coming to education, see now we find that many educationists suggest to use AI tools in schools as well as in higher education as well.
Mm.
In some cases, these tools become very useful, but in other cases, we find that the tools are not very useful because, again, as you said at the beginning of our conversation, children are more relying on the tools instead of doing their own work or giving a struggle, I mean, giving labor to their own development, for their own development, etc. So, my question is, what do you think? What policy China is following for regarding utilization of such type of tools at the school level? What do you
Mm.
can you
Uh,
just tell us
as
about?
far as I can see, there are some pilot programs in education being implemented very cautiously, very, very cautiously. And there are some experiments like using AI to analyze the students' learning outcome and provide targeted tutoring and exercises, things like that. But as far as I can see, first, most of the experiments happen to not directly to the students, but to the teachers. So enable the teachers to use the tools to advance their teaching. And second, as I said, those pilots are very, very cautiously. Um, I think one reason is China also China government's emphasis the equal opportunity of education very, very much. So if you push a AI-based solution to the more wealthy eastern cities, then that will increase the gap between east and west, between urban and rural. So I don't know what is going to happen. I don't know what's the direction. I think in next a few years there will be more actions from the state, but it has to be a very considerative approach.
Yeah. In India also, actually, we find that in many remote places or rural areas, it is very difficult to even deliver online educations.
Mm-hmm.
So, use of AI tools cannot be considered in such areas. So that is one of the major disadvantage uh, of such type of computer-based education or AI-based education systems. So
Mm-hmm.
if we want to maintain the equity among all the children, then obviously we should think in some other way. That's
Yeah.
true in our country. It's true very much. Okay. Right. Now I would like to come to the question of ethics. You
Mm-hmm.
see, in Western countries, mostly they talk about privacy, then
Mm-hmm.
risk, corporate misuse, etc. But in our countries, in China as well as in India, we think that there are many other issues like AI can influence on human creativity, or there is a fear of destruction of the social harmony, and there are maybe other issues uh, related to ethics. So, how do we consider AI ethics? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
what should be the issues in the countries like China or India? What do you think?
I've been hanging around with the Western, let's say, academic criticizers to the digital hegemony. I communicate with that group already for a while. One thing I feel upset to that group is they they don't have solutions, right? Like the problem of digital labor. The book Digital Labor was published in 2009, and it already talked about the gig workers in under platform economy and what the risks they might have. Then what changed in last 16 years? Nothing much changed in the West and in other countries. And I'm happy to see China government did a lot in that with a series of policies and laws and regulations. Now, all the internet platforms in China must take responsibility for the gig workers on their platforms. Like concretely, they must provide the workers with medical insurance, social insurance, and retirement benefits. And if the workers have work-related injuries or car accidents during their work, the platform must manage it, must compensate for it. As far as I know, China probably is the first country in the world systematically address that issue, not by academic debates alone, but by working with the government, working with legislation process. And at the bottom of it, I think it's the difference of social system. It's in a socialist country that the ruling party is trying to serve the people and make laws to regulate the capital. So, so talking about ethics of technology, ethics of AI, I think the most important ethics is not Confucianism. It's serving the people. No, I'm not saying I'm convincing most global South countries to become a socialist country. That's not what I'm saying. But I believe even from the perspective of nationalism and patriotism, governments should pay more attention to their people, and there are experience from China they can learn. They can learn how to make laws to regulate and solve those already known issues. Like we talk about what do you call information echo chamber, right? Everybody is talking about echo chambers, and who is doing anything on it, right? As far as I can see, China is the only place that there is a law very clearly says as internet application, a application on your phone, you have to clearly offer this option not to recommend any what we call personalized information based on the user's data. So you have to educate, as an application, you have to educate your user, say, you have the right to opt out, not to get any personalized recommendation. So that is a solvable problem, but countries, governments, they have to be willing to do that. Some scholars, including some very respectful scholars in the West, they always try to escape from the topic of states, of the apparatus. They always try to pretend that the states, the governments don't exist, and try to use civil society, use NGO kind of approach through conversation with the companies. But the companies don't have conversation with them, right? In the last 20 years, did Facebook any conversation with any of them? No, they don't. So you have to work with the government and say, as a nationalist government, you need to think for your people and find a way to regulate the big techs and try to get a balance out of it.
Yeah, that's a very good. I mean, it's great information also, because we were really not aware about the policies China has taken regarding the gig workers and other type of policies. That's very good. And uh, we also sometimes we think about the gig workers and many other such type of workers who are working with such similar systems, and the nation should consider how the government can protect such type of workers. That's true. Don't you think that BRICS can also take some role in this regard and propose an ethical AI framework, so that in such type of in such countries, equity, cultural diversity, and then all such social things are protected? Uh, don't Can't BRICS come forward with such type of framework? What do you think?
First, I don't know exactly how the BRICS AI initiative work, and I don't think I don't feel there is going to be a monolith, monolithical ethical framework applies to all the BRICS countries. It doesn't work that way, and I think Russians and Brazilians, Indians, Chinese, South Africans are very different in many ways. So I don't know how it would work. I think the BRICS should have some leadership to promote that idea generally, but I don't know concretely how it should work.
Okay. So, but then what do we expect from BRICS AI initiative in 2025? What will be our expectation? Some concrete steps,
I don't know in 2025. In the summit we just had,
or maybe in future.
right, in the summit we just had in a few days ago, they talked about the civil forum, right? Civil forum of the BRICS talked about that BRICS governments should work together to find out new ways to build a digital world order and to govern, to regulate the big techs. Um, I wish they make more progress, because it's not from the consensus of the summit to implementation. There is a lot of complexity. So it's not only the U.S. big techs being the problem. If you look at the Chinese digital companies like Alibaba's and Tencent's and Huawei, they are okay. They are nationalist, capitalist bourgeoisie. So, but still, they are bourgeoisie. So, if there is no regulation, no party's leadership, I cannot guarantee. I, as a Chinese, I'm not optimistic that they will behave very decently in other countries without those guidance. Like if you have Alibaba Cloud go to Brazil and become a competitor of AWS, I guarantee you Alibaba also wants to take all the data from Brazil and they can develop it. So it's going to be a long-term complicated process. And so there is a goodwill of all the state leaders, but there must be like multi-dimensional, multi-layered negotiation and bargaining to make it really happen. So I wish we can see the start and the acceleration of those concrete conversations.
Right. So we have almost come to the end of our discussion. Now it's already, we have passed a long time, and it's very nice to discuss such things with you and have share. I am really delighted to share our views and to learn from you. So coming to the end, I would like to ask you, what message would you give to a young person living in India or in China, uh, possibly not getting so much uh, access to the software now or artificial intelligence now, but probably want to go forward in the future. So what would be your message for them?
I think we are experiencing something never happened ever in human history. That is a hugely democratization and equalization of knowledge. It never happened before. Knowledge has always been monopolized by some people, by some groups. And but the whole human process, we try to democratize knowledge, but AI has shows us the biggest potential ever before. So, in theory, a student in a rural area with a smartphone would have the same access to knowledge as a white collar worker or a intellectual in Shanghai. Of course, that's only in theory, still yet. We are aware that there are many challenges and obstacles lying ahead, but we must continue to strive to ensure that AI truly becomes a tool that serves the people. So it's our generation, and next maybe I think 2 3 generations, we have to struggle for that and to make sure the technology, to use the technology to advance our productivity, and also to assure the technology serves the people, not become a tool that serves the profit of capital. So that's what I want to say.
Okay, thank you very much. So it's really great to have a conversation with you, and I hope we would have more such conversation, and we'll be able to share our understanding about the software systems, the new computing paradigm, and also artificial intelligence in future. Thank you very much, Jeff, and have a
Yes.
nice day. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest incidents. Hit the bell icon to never miss an update. We will see you next time with more news that matters. Stay informed, stay safe.